Hello, my lovely subscribers, my darling cybernets. You are welcome to today's episode on Sustainary Energia channel. If you are a brand new subscriber, I welcome you to my channel. On this channel, I discuss natural resources, energy, and sustainable development law of all these natural resources. In our last two episodes, we had started talking about the different types of risks to which private operators were exposed to in the course of their exploitation activities. We started with the natural or geological risks. We actually talked about the financial risk as well. Just one type of risk was left, and that's the risk I want to take us through today. That's the political risk. The political risk is not broad, but it's quite tactful. So I also want to discuss it for the purpose of completing our work because we had to discuss just those three. Now, but before I start talking about this political risk, I would like us to know this. Investment funds for natural resource projects is usually extremely pricey. It's actually very, very high. However, the exploiters still have the courage to get into these activities. The question you and I should ask ourselves is, why do they have this much courage? This is so much that they have to put in. Sometimes they're not even sure that a given deposit will contain the quantity of natural resource which could be commercialized. However, the operators take it upon themselves to delve into this very risky activity. I call it risky because their funds could be lost. However, these are people who know that they can also gain so much if they find a commercializable quantity of the natural resource which they seek to find. Now, what makes this particular burden of the financial involvement less felt? It is the duration. These activities actually go on throughout a very extended period of time. The timing is what gives the investor or the operator the calmness of mind to invest their huge funds. Now, I would like to take us through some of the years which these specific natural resources which I handpicked actually take place. You would understand why the investors are courageous enough to invest. Now, the average duration for petroleum deposits is 15 to 20 years. This is just the average. A given deposit could still contain a lot more and give the operator the chance to exploit. Instead of 15 to 20 years, he extends his time 20, or like you ask for more time, you'll definitely be given more 15 years, and added to this, you find himself maybe extracting his petroleum for the last 35 years. That's why they are discouraged. Let's come to gas. A given gas deposit could be exploited for a minimum of 20 to 30 years. Remember, in the course of extracting petroleum, gas is also found in the same spot because gas is the gaseous hydrocarbon which surrounds or which flows, which is actually found in the course of extracting the liquefied hydrocarbon. Now, in the course of extracting liquefied hydrocarbon, the process actually creates an atmosphere that gives space for gas to be floating above. That gas needs another permission or another permit before it could be touched. And guess what? The exploiter operator has 20 to 30 years. I've been disturbed by that call, sorry. The exploiter has 20 to 30 years to still enjoy that gas. Now, coming to the mining sector, we have many different types of mineral deposits that we could be seeking for. If we are taking a permit or a license to exploit diamond, It's not the same thing as a license for gold. As far as mining is concerned, the operator must be specific about the kind of mineral deposit he wants to extract. So let's take gold for a case study. Gold in this respect will be exploited or extracted for a period of 10 to 15 years. So we see that whichever one takes, it's not an extraction that takes 2 years and it's done. All of these things are just rough estimates. Most times, the earth has beautiful surprises, and that is why the operators have the courage to delve into this. Remember, they carry out feasibility studies before they do any of these things, before they do any of these extractions. So the machines, and with time and involvement, technological advancement, they are able to have a rough estimate of the quantity of natural resource which is in a given deposit. So this is why they can conveniently invest their huge funds, because the strength of the money is lessened, that the strength of the money is not felt because the pain is lessened by the very lengthy duration during which they will be doing their enjoyment or exploitations. So that's why they have the courage to do it. Now, with this explanation, I want to get into political risk. This explanation is going to make you understand why the political risk is the way it is. Now, the decision to invest is determined by the stability of the investment. Yeah. And the evaluation of the political risk is therefore determined by the stability of investment. What do we mean by stability of investment? Now, every businessman wants to come and do business in a country that is politically stable. No one wants to carry out extractions in a country where there is war and where my mineral resource is found. There are either rebels there or there are the armed forces there, because it's tribulate to pick any of us. Remember, internal conflicts are an issue that pertain to the politics of the nation. So political stability is also very, very important in the extractive processes. Now, in another arm, I want us to look at the stability of that investment. And in this respect, it will be looking at the legislative and regulatory framework, which is evolving with time. Now, every legislation in most countries has 5 years and more, depending on the national or internal laws of a given country, to be reviewed. Now, if a given country has it that we are going to renew our legislation or our regulatory act every 5 years, this means that throughout the pendency of, for example, the petroleum activities, which is 15 to 20 years duration minimum, that particular company is going to experience three different types of evolutions as compared to the laws they knew when they first got into a convention with the host country. This means that the company, the company which came in to exploit, that's a multinational company, needs to be protected from the evolution or the changing laws and changing regulations and changing legislation. This is what we talk about when we mention stability of the investment. As time goes on, the laws of my nation, for example, if they are host country, need to be changed. It's not because there's a multinational oil company or a multinational company involved in some extractive processes that we are not going to alter our laws. We have to evolve with the changing times. However, we need to protect them because we are held bound by a convention which we both got into. We are held bound by some agreements which we had entered into. And so the explorer should also expect this particular evolution in the course of him considering to draft the contract. There should be a clause that talks of what happens with the evolving law. Now, as the law is evolving with time, how do you protect me? This is what should be on the mind of the multinational company when drafting or letting their lawyer draft their contract with that host country. Also, the strategic character of natural resource is such that as time goes on, the host country does everything possible so that the government policies end up in favor of that multinational company. You see why they invest so much funds, because politically the government policies are made such that as time goes on, the evolving or changing legislations and regulatory enactments don't have anything to do with disturbing the multinational company. On the contrary, there are so many things that the law gives as incentives to encourage them to stay despite the very lengthy duration. It could be reduced taxes. How do you know? So this is exactly what the political risk looks like. Yes, we are going to get our funds pumped into this nation, but this is because we know that as the duration is broad, so are our benefits also going to be expanded. This brings us to the end of today's episode, and I hope that you had a very, very amazing understanding of the political risk involved in the extractive processes. Hoping to meet you in my next episode. I will come with some other topic related to this, but which is going to make you understand why you should, as an investor, hurry up to carry out your extractive processes. It's a win-win. It might look like a risk, but when you listen to it, it's actually a huge gain. And it's very, very stable because despite the changing laws, you are at the winning end. Hoping to see you in my next episode. I remain yours very humble and loyal barrister Egbe Eyom Akube. See you in my very, very next episode. Bye.